Malaga Radio.
Freshly squeezed.
The juice on all the daily events along the coast.
With just a little bit of zest.
Hola and welcome back. You're listening to the Micro Radio Weekly Diary. I'm Carmen, and with me, as always, is Baptiste. Every week, we're here to guide you through what's happening on the Costa del Sol, from fairs and food festivals to concerts, nightlife, and a few hidden gems in between.
And this week, we're doing something a little different. Before we dive into all the events from the 22nd to the 28th of September, we're starting with a special feature because one of the questions we hear all the time is, where do I actually find Malaga Radio? Is it live radio? Is it podcast? Is it the app? The answer is it's all of those. So today we're giving you a tour of the podcasts, the shows, and how they fit together.
Think of it as your personal map to the Malaga Radio universe. Shows that make your vacation richer, podcasts that travel with you even when you're back home, and tips that help you discover things even locals don't always know about.
Exactly. So we'll start with that special spotlight, a closer look at our podcast family. And then, as always, we'll bring you the weekly diary itself, the ferias, the exhibitions, the food and wine festivals, the big concerts, the beach club finales, and the sports.
And a few hidden gems in between. So stay with us. Whether you're planning your week on the Costa del Sol or just dreaming of your next trip, this episode is full of reasons to join the party. Let's begin with our special spotlight.
Malaga Radio.
Hola, mis amores. Last week, we gave you a special behind-the-scenes look at our live shows here on Malaga Radio. But today, it's about something different. Something you might not even know you needed on your holiday.
Exactly, because Malaga Radio isn't just live, it's also podcasts. Think of it as radio on demand, the same voices, the same stories, but ready whenever you are, on the beach, in the car, or even when you're back home in Berlin or London.
And honestly, this is where the magic starts. A live show is like a conversation in the moment, but a podcast? That's your secret travel guide. The ones that show you the catwalk on Cayolarios, the concerts inside a quarry, or the river walks and waterfalls that even locals don't always know about.
And that's what we're diving into today, the podcast family of Malaga Radio, each one designed to give you more tips, more ideas, more memories. So whatever your version of a holiday is, family, adventure, food, or nightlife, there's a podcast waiting for you.
Stay with us because by the end of this, you'll know exactly where to find the stories that make your trip unforgettable. You know me, I can start without my diary. The weekly diary is our anchor, the one that keeps us on track with what's happening across the Costa del Sol. And the funny thing, even locals are shocked when they hear how much is going on. They'll say, wait, there's a fashion catwalk on Calelarios this week or concert in a repurposed quarry? Really? Yes, really. That's what the diary does. It uncovers all those surprises.
And it's not just week to week. We've also built down diaries, little deep dives into places like Fuengirola, Nerca, Mijas, Estepona. Each one a mini podcast that explores festivals, beaches, local food, and the character of that town. Perfect if you're staying in one place or just curious what's around the corner.
And honestly, half the time I find myself saying, oh, I want to go there too. The diary keeps us busy, but it also makes you dream bigger about your trip. That's the magic. It's planning, but it feels like discovery.
Exactly. One week it's flamenco in the streets of Vélez-Málaga. Another week it's an international food fair. And another it's a full mood hike up in the hills. The Costa del Sol is never short of moments.
And then there are the festivals, like the 4-day beach party in Torre del Mar, where the music doesn't stop until sunrise. Thousands of people dancing barefoot in the sand, DJ spinning under the stars, the sea breeze in your hair. It's pure magic. You can plan your whole holiday around moments like that if you know they're happening.
And that's the point. The diary shows you what's out there so you don't miss it. But those nights on the beach, the DJs, the sunrise sessions, they deserve their own story. And that's why we built something new.
Because not every memory is made in daylight, the Costa del Sol has a soundtrack of its own when the sun goes down. And that's where our brand new podcast steps in. It's called The Drop, and it's launching at the end of October.
This one's exciting. The Drop is a monthly guide to the DJs, the festivals, the big parties shaping nightlife, not just here in Malaga, but across Europe. It's stylish, it's music obsessed, and it's built for anyone who wants to know what's trending before the doors even open.
Think melodic house, progressive beats, remixes that carry you straight to sunrise. And it's not just a list of names. Amy and Stevie take you behind the decks. They spotlight female DJs, tell the stories behind the tracks, and map out where you should be dancing next.
It's basically your nightlife compass. Whether you're here on holiday and want to know what's happening in Marbella this weekend or back home planning next summer's festivals, the drop puts it all in your headphones.
And honestly, I love their tease. We tell you where and when, but never why. We all know why. That pure lipstick and heels energy. Cheeky, stylish, fast talking.
So if the weekly diary helps you plan your days, the drop is there to power your nights. And we can't wait for the first episode to land, just in time for Halloween.
And here's the best part. Lipstick and Heels is finally launching on Halloween. Amy and Stevie will be live every Thursday to Sunday night, cheeky as ever, keeping you company until 2 in the morning. And then, right at the end of October, the drop lands with its first episode, your monthly fix of DJs, remixes, and festival energy.
So we've got the nightlife covered. But here's the thing about Spain. The rhythm is different. People don't just go out at 10 to dance. They're only just sitting down for dinner.
Yes, if you're from London or Berlin, you'll be shocked. 9, 10 o'clock, that's when the locals are opening their menus. Midnight, still eating. And honestly, that's half the magic of the Costa del Sol. Dinner is an event, not just a meal.
And that's why Daniel's World comes next, Out and About. It's our hospitality podcast, rolling out with 20 episodes this winter. Think tapas fairs, seafood festivals, rooftop bars with sunset views, and those little neighborhood spots that never make the tourist guides.
I love how Daniel tells it. He's not just talking about food. He's telling stories about the people who run these places, the chefs who've kept recipes alive, the markets buzzing with locals. It makes you feel like you're part of it, even if you're just planning your trip.
So if the diary helps you plan your days and the drop powers your nights, Out and About is where you taste the coast. It's Spain on a plate. And it's one of the richest ways to feel like you belong here.
Now, not everyone comes to the Costa del Sol just to lie on the beach. For some, a holiday is about moving, cycling up into the hills, hiking the river trails, or even floating in a hot air balloon at sunrise. That's where Active Adventures comes in.
Exactly. It's the podcast series that goes deep into activities, golf courses, tucked into the mountains, sailing the coastline, or even strapping on a helmet for some off-road motorbiking with Finn. It's not just about what you can do, it's about how it feels to live that lifestyle here.
And Lumi turns even a bike ride into poetry. Honestly, I'll never forget the way she described the sound of tires on gravel winding up through olive groves. She makes exercise sound like romance.
And Pia's the water sports queen, paddleboarding, parasailing, even a jet ski blast across the bay. Active Adventures has it all. It's about reminding you that the Costa del Sol isn't just a postcard, it's a playground.
And here's the fun twist. From January through April, this is one of the few places in Europe where you can water ski in the morning and snow ski in the afternoon. It's true. Paddleboarding or wakeboarding before lunch, then a drive up to Sierra Nevada, and by 3, you're clicking into skis and chasing the last lifts of the day.
That's the power of this coastline, all year-round activity, from sea caves and waterfalls to mountain peaks and ski slopes. And that's why Active Adventures is so popular. It takes you from the obvious to the unforgettable.
And speaking of the Sierra Nevada, that leads perfectly to Pia again, because once January hits, her world of Factor 50 swaps the sunscreen for snow goggles.
Malaga Radio.
And after all that movement, sometimes you just want to stop, to breathe, to sit in the sun with a glass of something cold and the sound of waves in the background. That's where Factor 50 comes in. It's Pia's baby, and it's all about that holiday vibe. The beach bars, the chiringuitos, the wellness escapes, the kind of afternoons that melt into sunsets without you even noticing.
Factor 50 is the coastal heartbeat. Pia talks spas and yoga one day, family-friendly attractions the next, and always ties it back to that easy rhythm of life by the sea. It's the show you tune into when you want to slow down and actually feel like you're on holiday. And it doesn't matter if it's August or January, the sun shines year-round here. And even in winter, you will find people stretched out on the sand with sunglasses on.
Exactly. I always say Malaga is one of those places where you can get a suntan in January. It's why so many visitors keep coming back. It's not just a summer thing. And Pia captures that perfectly. She makes every day feel like a holiday.
And then when January rolls around, Pia doesn't disappear. She just trades the beach for the mountains. That's factor 50 in the snow. From January through April, her world moves to Sierra Nevada. Ski schools, après-ski bars, mountain spas, and the kind of snowy adventures that remind you Spain isn't just about the sun.
She produced a whole miniseries last season, 10 evergreen episodes covering everything from first-timers guides and parking tips to après-ski and mountain safety. It's as useful for a weekend trip as it is for planning a full ski holiday, and you can still go back and listen to all of them ready for the next season.
And it's not just skiing. Pierre talks about mountain wellness too. Hot stone massages after a long day on the slopes or spas escapes in the crisp air. It's that same factor feeling, just with snow instead of sand.
And that's what I'd love. Pia makes it feel like she's just chatting with friends, whether she's describing a spa day in Marbella or a ski run above Granada. You feel like she's right there with you, guiding you along. But here's the thing. Sometimes a quick mention isn't enough. Sometimes you want the whole story of a place. That's where the Spotlight series comes in. It's our way of shining a light on one venue or attraction and telling its story properly.
Exactly. Spotlight episodes are longer, around 20 to 30 minutes, and they're evergreen. One week it might be a spa in Marbella, the next a music venue in Fuengirola, or a family attraction in Estepona. They're like little audio postcards packed with detail, personality, and context.
And for visitors, they're golden because it's not just, oh, here's a nice beach bar. It's the background, the people behind it, why it matters. It's like walking in with a friend who already knows everyone. And honestly, I've lost count of how many times I've finished a Spotlight recording and thought, now I really want to go there myself.
And for businesses, Spotlight is powerful too. It's a chance to be more than an advert, to be part of the story tourists take home. A podcast like that stays online forever. It's not just heard once, it's heard again and again by new visitors planning their trip.
And then there's like a local. I adore this one because it's full of little tips and hacks that make a holiday smoother. Things like what time locals actually eat dinner, which bus to grab to the beach, how to order tapas without overdoing it, or which rooftop bar is worth the climb.
It's those details you never find in glossy brochures. Like a local episodes are short, sharp, and practical. They help you avoid the tourist traps and get straight to the good stuff. And there's even a nightlife spin-off, helping you navigate Spanish club culture, what door staff are really looking for, or how to make the most of a tapas to sunrise routine.
And trust me, those survival tips come in handy. I once went to a club in Marbella wearing the wrong shoes, and let's just say, never again. Like a local would have saved me that embarrassment.
Exactly. It's a podcast that quietly saves your holiday. You don't think you need it until you do.
Between factor 50 on the coast, factor 50 on the snow in the mountains, Spotlight shining deep on venues, and like a local keeping your holiday smooth, this whole cluster really is your go-to vacation toolkit. Whether you're chasing waves, carving snow, finding the perfect spa, or just working out where to order your late-night tapas, these podcasts keep you one step ahead.
And that's why we call Malaga Radio the perfect vacation station, because it doesn't matter if your holiday is about chilling, exploring, eating, or skiing. We've got a show that fits your version of the Costa del Sol.
So there you have it, a whole family of podcasts to make your holiday richer. But before we wrap up, let's clear something up. People sometimes ask us, why don't you broadcast on FM? The truth? FM on the Costa del Sol is like a game of hide and seek. Strong in one town, gone the next. Driving from Torremolinos to Marbella, you'd spend more time twisting the dial than enjoying the show.
And that's exactly why we built Malaga Radio the way we did. With the app, it's simple. One tap and we're there, in the car, walking the Paseo, lounging in your holiday apartment, or even when you're back home in London, Copenhagen, or Berlin. It's Malaga Radio everywhere, not just when the frequency feels like cooperating.
Mm-hmm. And remember, Malaga is more than just the city. This is the province, the whole coast. So whether you're in Estepona, Nerca, Ronda, or the city itself, you're part of the hub, and the hub is part of your trip.
So how do you find us? Easy podcasts on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, even Alexa. Just say play Malaga Radio. For events, head to malagaradio.net. For podcasts, blogs, and live radio, it's malagaradio.com. And of course, the Malaga Radio app keeps it all in your pocket.
Yes, podcasts are more than stories. They're memory makers, the kind you carry home long after the holiday ends.
Malaga Radio.
This week feels like Andalusia has shifted into feria season again. And if you're here on the Costa del Sol, you'll feel it in the air. Torremolinos is the big one right now, the Feria de San Miguel. By day, the streets of the town center come alive with parades, music, and locals dressed in traje de flamenco. By night, the fairgrounds explode with lights, rides, and the kind of concerts where everyone sings along. Los Ecres are playing a free show this Saturday. That's a Spanish pop rock institution right there. You don't need tickets, just energy to keep going until the early hours.
And if Torremolinos is the headliner, Vélez-Málaga is a very strong support act. The Feria runs the same week, and it's a chance to step into the Axarquia's capital at its most vibrant. The plazas fill with food stalls, families wander between rides, and the concerts run late into the night. It's the same spirit as Torremolinos, but with its own flavor, more local, more rooted in tradition, but still welcoming to anyone who wants to join the party.
I love that about this coast. You're never far from a celebration. Even Malaga City itself has something meaningful at the start of the week, the Día Internacional de la Paz on the 22nd. It's a quieter day compared to the ferias, but you'll find gatherings, concerts, and performances in the city center, all tied to the global peace movement. It's a reminder that festivals here aren't always about fireworks and fairgrounds. Sometimes they're about reflection and shared value.
And then to the north of the city, Almogía is preparing something different for the weekend, the Dia de la Almendra, Almond Day. This is a festival of provincial tourist interest, and it's as authentic as it gets. On Sunday, the village streets transform into a living market with over 50 exhibitors offering cheeses, sweets, and of course, almond-based delicacies. There are demonstrations of traditional shelling and peeling, free tastings, even craft stalls. It's small, it's rural, but it's a perfect window into the agricultural heart of Malaga province.
In the bright lights of Torremolinos, dancing in Malaga, taking a pause for peace in the city, or crunching almonds in Almogía, this week is overflowing with traditions old and new. Each one offers a different rhythm, but together they make the Costa del Sol feel alive.
And the Carlo doesn't stop when the feria lights go out. Malaga is also a city of art, and this week its museums are stepping into the spotlight. From Picasso to candlelit concerts, let's take a look at what's happening indoors.
Malaga Radio.
After a week of fairs and fiestas, it's nice to remember that Malaga is also one of Europe's most exciting cultural cities. You can go from dancing at the feria to standing in front of a Picasso masterpiece in less than a day. And that's something special.
The Picasso Museum is leading the way this week. They're marking the 50th anniversary of his passing with an homage exhibition. It's not just about the paintings themselves, though they are extraordinary. It's about standing in the city where he was born, seeing his work in the context of his own streets. For visitors, that connection is something you can't really get anywhere else.
And then if you head down to the port, there's the Rainbow Cube, Malaga Pompidou. Their autumn showcase is opening now, and it's all about contemporary art that challenges you, surprises you, sometimes even makes you laugh. I love how you can walk from the sea breeze into this futuristic gallery and suddenly be face to face with something bold and modern.
For something calmer, there's the Carmen Thyssen Museum. They're focusing on Andalusian landscapes this season. These are paintings that capture the hills, the light, the villages, the real Malaga that exists beyond the tourist brochures. It's a reflective space, slower and perfect if you want to feel the region's identity through art.
And art here isn't always about galleries. Candlelight concerts are happening every week across the city, and they're magical. Imagine Vivaldi's Four Seasons inside the Grand Hotel Miramar, or a Coldplay tribute at the Carmen Thyssen Museum, all by candlelight. It's intimate, it's atmospheric, and it feels like a secret you get to share with the city.
And don't overlook the CAC Malaga, the Contemporary Art Center. It often gets overshadowed by the bigger names, but its installations are some of the most thought-provoking you'll find. And the best part is that entry is free. For anyone wandering through Soho or looking for a cultural stop that doesn't take half a day, it's a perfect fit.
So whether you're standing before Picasso, stepping into the cube at Pompidou, or listening to a violin under candlelight, Malaga's cultural scene this week is overflowing with choice. It's one of those rare places where art feels like part of daily life.
And speaking of daily life, art may feed the soul, but food feeds everything else. The harvest season is here, and the Costa del Sol's markets and food festivals are ready to tempt you. Let's talk gastronomy.
Malaga Radio.
Others soaking up the art and exhibitions, it's only fair we turn to the flavors. September is a magical time for food here. Harvest season is in full swing, and villages across the Costa del Sol are celebrating in the most delicious ways.
One of the best ways to taste that is in Benalmádena Pueblo, where the Ruta de la Tapa is on. Dozens of bars and restaurants open their doors with special small plates, each one paired with a drink. You pay just a few euros, wander from one spot to another, and end up discovering not just food, but hidden corners of the village itself.
Arimia, I love that. It turns eating into an adventure. And it's not just tapas this week. Up in the Axarquia, Moclinejo is hosting its Wine Harvest Festival on Sunday the 28th. You can expect grape stomping, music in the streets, tastings of the sweet Malaga wine, and of course, plenty of local dishes. It's not a show put on for visitors. It's the real celebration of the harvest, and everyone's invited to share in it.
And the next day, not far away, Cómpeta adds its own flavor with the Sabor a Cómpeta Festival. That one's all about mixing the local with the international, Andalusian dishes alongside global tastes, all served in the streets of this mountain village. It's a reminder of how the Costa del Sol is always blending tradition with the new.
And speaking of tradition, remember we talked about Almogia's Almond Festival in the last section? Well, it's also a treat for the taste buds. Almond soup, roasted nuts, sweets. It's the essence of autumn on a plate. Even the bigger ferias we mentioned, like Torremolinos and Vélez-Málaga, are just as much about the churros and fried fish as the rides and music.
That's something worth remembering. Whether it's a harvest festival in a hillside village or a bustling feria on the coast, food is always at the center. And if you're here in September, you've got perfect conditions to enjoy it.
Exactly. Don't forget the chiringuitos, those beachside bars that are a bucket list experience this time of year. The weather's still golden, the sea's warm, but the crowds have thinned. Sitting by the sand with grilled sardines and a cold drink in late September? Honestly, it doesn't get more Costa del Sol than that.
So whether you're raising a glass in Moclinejo, tasting tapas in Benalmádena, or sharing sardines at a chiringuito, this week is packed with flavor. And once you've eaten your fill, the coast has one more treat lined up, the music. From flamenco to beach club finales, the nights this week are going to be unforgettable.
Malaga Radio.
If you thought the ferias were the only reason to stay up late this week, think again. The nights along the Costa del Sol are just as packed as the days. From cosplay parties to candlelit violins, there's something for every kind of night owl.
And the biggest headline is Comic-Con Malaga, running from the 25th to the 28th at the FYCMA Convention Center. It's Europe's first official Comic-Con. By day, it's comics, movies, and gaming, but by night, it transforms into concerts, after parties, and cosplay club nights. More than 60,000 people are expected, so the energy in the city is going to be off the charts.
I love that mix. Comic books by day, club bits by night. It shows just how much Malaga can reinvent itself. You can spend the afternoon in a panel with your favorite actor and end the evening dancing with a stormtrooper.
Then to the west, Fuengirola has its own big stage moment. On the 27th, reggaeton star Mora brings his Lo Mislo de la Otra tour to Marinestrun Fuengirola. It's completely sold out. But honestly, you'll feel the buzz all across town. Even if you're not in the venue, being in Fuengirola that night will feel electric.
That's the thing with concerts like this. You don't even need a ticket to feel part of it. Grab a drink nearby, hear the music drift over the castle walls, and you're in the moment.
And if your taste leans underground, Torremolinos has you covered. Studio Club is hosting Marcel Detman and I May Live across the 26th and 27th. It's a very different vibe from the beach clubs. Darker, deeper electronic sounds that draw crowds from across Europe.
I always laugh at how Torremolinos, this laid-back seaside town, suddenly becomes the hub for Berlin-style techno. It's proof that the Costa del Sol really does have layers.
And for those who want something more traditional, there are flamenco tablas every single night in Malaga. Places like Alegría, El Gallo Ronco, and the Teatro Flamenco Club offer intimate shows where the guitars, the dancing, and the palmas bring you right into the heart of Andalusian culture. No tickets, months in advance, no massive crowds, just raw, authentic flamenco.
And on the other end of the spectrum, candlelight concerts are still running this week. Imagine sitting under chandeliers or in a courtyard as dozens of candles glow around you, listening to Vivaldi's Four Seasons or a Coldplay tribute. It's a softer way to spend the evening, but just as magical.
We should also mention that some of the feriés double as concerts too. Torremolinos Feria de San Miguel is offering a free show by Los Secretos on the 27th. So if you've spent the day at the fair, you can stay on and enjoy a legendary Spanish band without paying a cent.
And if you happen to be in Fuengirola right at the start of the week, Pastora Soler was also performing there on the 22nd. She's celebrating 30 years of music, and it was a special way to open this stretch of September nights.
But the real climax of nightlife this week is happening in Marbella. The end of September means closing weekend, and the beach clubs pull out all the stops.
Oh, this is the one I always miss. Every year I promise I'll make it, and then by the time off-season rolls around, I'm kicking myself. These are the parties that people talk about all winter.
On Friday, the 26th, Now Pool Club hosts its history closing, a poolside celebration with DJs spinning classics all day. Saturday is stacked. Ocean Club's all-black closing party runs from sunset to midnight. Now returns at night with the Rev Festival. Mirage Marbella has a finale with Tine Tempin, and Mowgli throws in one last Babylon pool session. Then, on Sunday the 28th, Nikki Beach holds its iconic red party. Dress code, strictly red from midday until sundown.
It's not just music, it's theater, dancers, champagne showers, the sea as your backdrop, you're dressed to the nines, you're surrounded by energy, and you know it's the last time until next summer. No wonder people fly in just for this weekend. Honestly, it's the ultimate goodbye to the season.
And that's the beauty of the Costa del Sol. In 1 week, you can go from flamenco guitars in a tablao to cosplay parties at Comic-Con to a champagne sunset at Nikki Beach. Whatever your style of night out, this coast delivers.
And after all that dancing, maybe you need a little balance. Locally, this week also brings some of the biggest sporting spectacles of the autumn. From basketball to rally cars, the action doesn't stop when the music fades.
Malaga Radio.
Please talk about fiestas, art, and music. But the Costa del Sol isn't just about watching, it's about doing. And this week, the sporting calendar is just as exciting as the nightlife.
Exactly. At the top of the bill is basketball. The Supercopa Endesa takes over Malaga's Martin Carpina Arena on the 27th and 28th. It's one of the biggest competitions in Spanish basketball, with the top teams battling it out in front of thousands of fans. Even if you don't normally follow the sport, the energy in the arena is incredible. The kind of atmosphere that sweeps you up and makes you part of the game.
I love that. The roar of the crowd, the music during timeouts, kids waving flags. It feels like a festival inside a stadium. And then, if you prefer your sport with a bit of fuel and dust, Rincón de la Victoria has the Rallye Gibralfaro the same weekend. Cars tearing through the hills and villages of the Axarquia, engines echoing in the valleys. It's pure adrenaline.
The rally has a long tradition too. It's the 34th edition this year. You see everything from classic rally cars to modern beasts, all against some of the most dramatic backdrops in the province. For spectators, it's as much about the scenery as the speed.
Now, not everyone wants to chase cars or slam dunk a basketball. That's why this coast is brilliant. You can join in at your own pace. So let's do a little feature we'll call Let's Get Active.
Good idea. So option 1, yoga. Lisa's running vinyasa sessions in Millas on the 22nd. Gentle, flowing, a perfect reset. And if you're closer to Marbella, the Kimpton Los Monteros Hotel has Pilates and brunch. Stretch first, eat after. Not a bad deal.
That's more my speed. And for something a bit more adventurous, the Aceja del Toril hike is happening on the 27th. It's a guided walk through historic irrigation channels, combining nature with a bit of history. Or, if you don't mind getting your feet wet, head to Nerja for the Laumas y Chilar wet walk. Streams, pools, a bit of splashing around. It's like hiking and paddling rolled into one.
And for those drawn to the sea, Benalmádena has nautical practice sessions this weekend, part of the Modern Pearl license training. You don't have to be a pro. It's a way to get hands-on with boats and feel the Mediterranean in a completely different way.
I like that. It shows there's something for everyone. You can cheer with thousands at the Supercopa, feel the ground shake at a rally, or quietly stretch into a yoga pose with the sunrise. Whatever your style, this coast gives you a way to stay moving.
And that's the perfect note to close this week's diary, because festivals, exhibitions, food, nightlife, and sport, they all connect back to one thing: living the Costa del Sol to the fullest.
Malaga Radio.
And that wraps up this week's diary, from the feria lights in Torremolinos to the closing parties in Marbella. We've covered a lot and hopefully given you a few ideas to make your week unforgettable.
Remember, you don't have to wait for the diary to keep up with what's happening. You can listen to Malaga Radio live anytime on the app, or even just ask Alexa to play Malaga Radio. And all of our podcasts, this one included, are on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and every major platform.
And if you want your updates day by day, join us every morning on Freshly Squeezed. Is where we take the highlights from the diary and mix in the daily tips, so you're always ready for what's happening right now.
Wherever you're listening from, thanks for being with us. We'll be back next week with more stories, more events, and more reasons to fall in love with the Costa del Sol.
Malaga Radio, the perfect vacation station. Always coastal, always connected. See you next week.
Well, actually, listening tomorrow, I will be in the studio. Not sure where Carmen will be.
I might surprise you. Could be at the feria, could be at a chiringuito, but either way, I'll be listening.
And that's the point. Wherever you are, Malaga Radio is right there with you. Until next time.
Malaga Radio. Malaga Radio.